Arabella was a quiet woman. Within her silence, echoes of screams were hidden, screams that only her heart had ever heard. Every morning, she practiced smiling in front of the mirror, as if she were trying to convince herself that everything was fine. But the shadows of fatigue and fear around her eyes could never be hidden. Her husband was harsh-tempered. Yelling, threatening, and getting angry over the smallest things had become his habit. The atmosphere of the house was always filled with tension. The sound of doors slamming shut, things being placed down forcefully, and harsh words, all of this was a daily routine for Arabella. But Arabella was not the only one in that house. They also had a small son named Ethan. Ethan was only 8 years old, but his eyes had seen scenes that children should never have to witness. Every day, he watched his parents fight. His mother's tears and his father's anger had all become a heavy burden on his small heart. He would often sit in the corner of his room, covering his ears, but the voices still found their way inside. Ethan loved his mother very much. Whenever his father became angry, he would quietly come close to his mother and hold on to her dupatta as if saying, "I'm right here, Amma." One day, Arabella's health became very poor. Weakness, dizziness, and a heaviness in her chest. Her husband said carelessly, "Go to the hospital and get it checked," and that was all. At the hospital, they met Dr. Zuriya, a gentle, understanding doctor who always listened attentively. During the checkup, Dr. Zuriya sensed that the problem wasn't only physical, but emotional as well. Arabella's fingers were trembling, and her gaze kept drifting toward the door again and again. Dr. Zuriya asked gently, "Is everything okay? You seem very anxious." Arabella remained silent for a while. Then, as if a dam had broken, tears began to flow from her eyes. In a soft voice, she described the state of her home, fear, cruelty, and loneliness. She kept talking, and Dr. Zuriya listened quietly. But this story had another turn as well. Outside, in the waiting area, Ethan was sitting. He couldn't hear everything, but he could feel it. He saw his mother crying, and a strange kind of courage grew in his heart, a courage that sometimes only children possess. When the nurse asked him to bring some water, Ethan slowly approached Dr. Zuriya. His voice was trembling, but he didn't lose courage. Dr. Auntie. Dr. Zuriya bent down to his level. "What's the matter, dear?" With tears in his eyes, Ethan said, "Papa yells at Amma every day. We both get very scared. I see it every day. Amma is very good. Please help her." These words tore at Dr. Zuriya's heart. This wasn't just a child speaking, it was a witness, a brave son standing up for his mother. Dr. Zuriya placed her hand on Ethan's head and said, "You are very brave. Your mother is not alone." That day, Dr. Zuriya did more than just prescribe medicine. She involved the hospital's support services, arranged counseling, and informed Arabella about safe options. She reassured her that seeking help is not a sign of weakness. A few months later, Arabella returned to the hospital. This time, there was a hint of calm on her face. Ethan stood beside her, upright, confident, as if he had grown older than his years. There was less fear and more hope in his eyes. Arabella said with a smile, "Doctor, you didn't just give me treatment, you gave me and my son a new life." Dr. Zuriya smiled and, looking at Ion, thought, "Sometimes the greatest bravery lies in the smallest hearts. Sometimes a doctor's job isn't just to give medicine. Sometimes they listen to a mother's silence, and sometimes to the truth of a little son. And just like that, an entire life can change."